Today we're going to explore 9 Sarasota neighborhoods where legacy wealth continues to live and evolve. In addition to our tour of these 9 legacy pockets, I will also be profiling the most expensive estate currently on the market, a $30 million masterwork, later in this video, so stay tuned. What defines a legacy neighborhood? Well, it isn't age. What it is staying power over a long period of time. When we look at activity in 2024, 2025, and early 2026, the pattern is extremely clear. Meaningful transactions are happening inside the same established pockets that have always carried cultural weight in Sarasota. And right now, I believe that we're entering a low friction living type of phase. In 2026 especially, the questions have changed from the last few years. It's no longer just about square footage, it is also about how much time does this home to maintain, and does it meet the 2026 insurance standards for resilience. Certain people may have outgrown a really large home, and they may very well be more interested in the downtown Sarasota luxury apartments. So what we're seeing is that luxury buyers, many of them are selling to downsize, or perhaps they're selling to move somewhere where they have much more of a concierge type of service. Harbor Acres is the perfect example of what I call the C-suite shuffle. Harbor Acres is Sarasota's closest thing to a blue chip anchor, a neighborhood that has consistently held value exceptionally well through market cycles. Thanks to its prime location, it is just minutes away from downtown. It's minutes away from Siesta Key, with limited inventory because it's a relatively small place, and appeal to discerning buyers. When a longtime owner sells a vintage ranch on a prime lot, many times they're selling to a surgeon from Sarasota Memorial, a tech founder, or a family office. If you look at the activity on streets like Hillview Drive or Orange Avenue, you'll see exactly what I mean. The buyer isn't focused on the existing house. They're paying for the location. They're paying for the dirt in many cases. And then what they do is they invest another $5 and $8 million building something designed for the next 30 years. Homes with full home automation, multi-car galleries, and 2026 great resilience. These are fortresses of luxury. The resilience that buyers are now after, and this really comes down to almost every single home really close to the water, is being able to withstand hurricane wind and also surge water from coming up. And so a lot of these homes are just getting redesigned, updated, or built completely new construction. Now, if you want to see where Sarasota's architectural soul lives, you go to Lido Shores. Lido Shores is just past St. Armand's Circle, literally just minutes away, of course, from St. Armand's Circle, it's next to it, but also to the Lido Key beaches and the Longbow Key and Anna Maria Island beaches. Lido Shores is an exclusive upscale residential community featuring private beach access and a mix of mid-century and modern homes. It's a neighborhood that treats homes like they're curated pieces of art. A current example of this evolution is 1418 John Ringling Parkway, which was built in 2004 and reimagined by Mindy Webb. It's a 5-bedroom waterfront property that recently added a 2025 roof and a 51-panel solar system with Tesla batteries. There's absolutely breathtaking water views at this location. It's currently listed by Kelly Gettle and Brandy Sheldon with Coldwell Banker. And by the way, if you're interested in this location, this is within your budget, and you're looking for a private showing, I can set you up on one of them so you can get to know this layout just a little bit better. I think of Burke Key as Sarasota's most resilient social ecosystems. In 2026, the big story here isn't just the waterfront views, and there's plenty of those, but it's the $27.5 million total rebuild of the Burke Key Yacht Club. By choosing to demolish a 65-year-old clubhouse and build a state-of-the-art FEMA-compliant facility from scratch instead, the community sent a clear message here. The significant private investment reflects a strong commitment to the island's long-term future. It positions Burke Key not just a great spot for boating, but as a resilient community hub designed for decades to come. Because of this, and because of Burke Key's location, close to St. Armand's Circle, close to Lido, close to downtown, just over the Ringling Bridge, it remains one of the tightest inventory markets in the region. And so when homes hit the market here, they're often met with immediate interest from people who understand the proximity to all these great amenities that we all want to have access to. And owners here may be upgrading to new construction beachfront homes, or perhaps they're modernizing classic ranches. But the trend is absolutely clear, and that is once people settle into the bird key lifestyle, they tend to double down on it rather than look elsewhere. The conversation around the barrier islands, such as Casey Key and Siesta Key, for example, has not changed since 2024. Not because people stopped loving the beach, but because expectations have evolved. So what we've seen is a flight to quality. Many longtime owners sold older beachfront homes not out of fear, but out of fatigue. They might have realized that updating a 1980s beach house, for example, to a 2026 standards was very significant also when it comes to cash. They recognize that the opportunity to pass those properties to a new generation of buyers is now, who want to build the next wave of resilient, high elevation coastal homes. And so to understand the pinnacle of Sarasota luxury, you have to look at Casey Key. For decades, this 8-mile long island, free of traffic lights and high-rises, has been the ultimate highway for the global elite, including legends such as Stephen King. This, by the way, is a great place to go bike riding as well. Extremely scenic with some of the most beautiful water views, based on my own opinion here. But if you drive down Casey Key Road today, the landscape looks different than it did 2 years ago. The back-to-back hurricanes of 2024, Helene and Milton, served as a knockout punch for many of the island's legacy structures. We're currently seeing a massive wave of remodeling and new construction that's fundamentally rewriting the island's map. Many of the older ground-level darling cottages simply couldn't withstand the 7-foot storm surges because of the FEMA 50% rule, which prevents major repairs unless homes are brought up to 2026 flood codes. Many owners made the strategic decision to tear down and start over. This is essentially the flight to quality that's been happening over the last year especially. Since the hurricanes of 2024, Casey Key has transitioned from old Florida charm to a fortress of resilience. We're seeing massive wave of high elevation rebuilds on deep pier foundations. We're also seeing a rise in high elevation custom estates built with 2026 grade engineering. It's no longer just about the Gulf to Bayview, it's about the real estate that can withstand the next 50 years. Now we're going to move north of Sarasota, close to the airport. Indian Beach and Sapphire Shores are the cultural heart of the city. Very close to the Ringling Museum, to the Catazan, and in 2026, we're seeing less about selling and more about stewardship. This area is unique because it attracts a mix of local intellectuals, artists, and families who prioritize history over newness. Homes here are often being passed to younger families with the resources to restore Mediterranean revivals and mid-century gems rather than just erasing them. And the real value here isn't just the square footage, it's heritage. Neighbors here really appreciate the cultural aspect of living in this neighborhood. Now, if you're looking for a place that is not flashy, that a lot of people wouldn't even know consisted of luxury properties, then go no further than Oyster Bay. Oyster Bay is a tiny, lush pocket, fewer than 180 homes in total, and that small footprint creates a level of privacy that's hard to find anywhere else. The heart of the neighborhood is the Field Club. It's a social anchor that defines the vibe for the area. You'll see neighbors walking down to their boat slips. It gives this whole area that Nantucket type of energy, traditional, understated, and incredibly well established. Along South Lake Shore Drive, you'll see some of the most significant deep water estates west of the trail. These aren't just show houses, they're family legacies. People choose Oyster Bay because they want that rare combination of a deep water dock and the ability to be at South Village or the hospital literally in 5 minutes. Now let's move over to Siesta Key, which is known as one of the top beaches in the United States. Siesta Key is famous for its sand, 99% quartz. The north end is undisputed the Gold Coast here. This is where you find the highest concentration of private deep water acreage, yet less than 10 minutes from downtown Sarasota, and so close to Siesta Key Beach. The perfect example is the recent $10.5 million sale at 26 Sandy Hook Road. It was sold back in December of 2025, which set the pace for the island's luxury tier in 2025, so the most expensive home sold. Sandy Hook itself is a rare find. It's a private, architecturally significant enclave of just 42 homes. For those that are looking to live off the island but still close enough to be able to enjoy the beaches in downtown Sarasota, the Oaks has become the premier destination for inland luxury. It offers a rare combination, that is, you're in higher elevation, but you also have the space while still being 15 minutes from the sand. The community itself has three parts to it: Oaks Club site, Oaks Bay site, and the Oaks Preserve. It's essentially a place that people graduate through, especially when they're coming off the shore and they're not wanting to live downtown Sarasota. They're essentially trading the maintenance of a large estate for a luxury villa in many cases, or perhaps a smaller luxury home in the Oaks without ever leaving their social environment, their social circle. For Legacy Island owners, the Oaks offers that perfect 2026 balance: the elite club lifestyle and beach proximity paired with structural peace of mind. And now we're going to move over to Lakewood Ranch, which is east of 75. We're going to be further away from the coast now. Depending on where in Lakewood Ranch, it could take about 35 to 45 minutes to head over to the beach. It is sought after, especially over the last few years. Gotten plenty of awards, but it is, from a sales velocity standpoint, the #2 best-selling master plan community in the United States, right after the Villages, which is Central Florida. But when it comes to multi-gen master plan communities, it's actually the #1 best-selling one. People from all over the US, especially from New York, New Jersey, Canada, California, will want to make it their home, partially because there's a lot of new construction happening. There's over 30 communities in Lakewood Ranch. A lot of them are newer. Waterside Place, which is a downtown area that just opened up a few years ago, bringing more restaurants, more shops to the area. Really exciting. And those people that are from the Keys, from the west of the trails, many from these upper tier enclaves are looking at places such as the Lake Club and Wild Blue at Waterside. These aren't just subdivisions, they're lifestyle ecosystems, amenity-rich communities, resort-style living. For buyers coming from up north, Lakewood Ranch is also an alternative to living right by the coast. So for many people, especially after the hurricanes, they're wanting to live just a little bit further away. And that gives them still relatively easy access to the beaches while also having an amenities-rich lifestyle in Lakewood Ranch. And now, as promised, the most expensive property on the market right now is on Siesta Key. Located at 3990 Higel Avenue, this DSDG design masterpiece is listed at $29,995,000. The home sits on nearly an acre of land. Now, this home is a new construction home. It is not complete yet, but what we're seeing is that a lot of these homes on the coastal areas, especially, but in legacy places, are either getting remodeled or new construction opportunities are moving in, and that just showcases that there's truly still a premium being demanded for these legacy coastal areas. Now, if you're somebody that's looking to purchase or sell in the Sarasota market and you're trying to determine what your strategic move should look like in 2026, let's connect for a private consultation. It's actually a big part of what I do, understanding the movement of money really before the market reacts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I wish you all a great day.